Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games and a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Pro Cycling Manager 2018. It's episode 3, and I'm still in week 29 of competition. This is a bit of a special episode here, as with the launch of the 2018 edition, I am trying to speed through the first couple seasons of my career to get back on track where I was just a week ago as I wrapped up the 2017 edition at the end of season number 2 in my rider's career. So I'm doing the same thing with a stage race specialist rider. So all the formatting is the same. So where I'm at this point is it is now the middle of May. But this special episode I will be editing, jumping from place to place over the course of the season. Trying to do those edited videos take myself a lot longer, as I don't have a very good editing program. It takes hours to render a single video. Eventually I would love to replace that with a better program. So most videos I tend to stick to just the capture, as I have great capture software, Elgato, fantastic software there.
The gap is widening. It's now over 2 minutes. The pack is increasing.
So at this point in the season, I still have just the one victory, which was observed in the last video. I did end up finishing that race off in second place overall, so that was a pretty solid finish. Unfortunately, my manager wasn't very happy that I managed to only finish second, which is pretty demoralizing, as you can't get much better than second when you've got 130 riders. To have them mad that you did not win overall, obviously they wouldn't see that as exceptional, but they should at least still be happy, or at least content with second, and not looking at it as, well, you got second, so, you know. Well, anyway, so here we are. I'm actually set up as a teammate in this race. And there are definitely some differences as I've gotten further and further into this season. The game has only just come out at the time of this video. It is just a few days after the launch of this game. And I'm getting further and further into understanding the subtle differences between the 2018 edition and the 2017 edition, at least when it comes to this Pro Cyclist Mode. Now, among those differences, those subtle differences, because really the graphics are pretty much the same, and I've pointed out a couple things already, like the motorcycles and the race directors that are just in front of me. If I were to suddenly accelerate and come up on them from behind, instead of the traditional go through them as if they're not there, there are actual obstacles now that my rider will make an effort to go around. Most of the time. It still happens, but not like before. So I've pointed out some of those differences, but the AI is the big one that I'm kind of honing in on. They have made the game far more challenging. So if we go back a couple seasons to the 2016 edition, the Pro Cyclist Mode was super easy. You could take a stage racing specialist, and by the third season you could already be competitive at Grand Tours. In my third season on that one, I had managed to get into the Vuelta and win the mountain climbers jersey. I wasn't competing for the top, but I was already in that at that point. If I wanted to, I could have been top 25. by that next year, I probably would have been top 10. And by the year after that, I probably could have been winning. I didn't get that far in the game as I picked up the 2016 edition a little bit late. I've had every edition of this since around 2012-ish. And then last year, the 2017 edition, the AI was definitely improved, but it was still quite flawed. It was definitely improved on that Pro Cyclist Mode. It was not as easy to get ahead, and as my series just wrapped on that, I was further in that one than I had been in a previous playthrough on the series that I had on the channel. There we go. Get to the front here. Racing hard though. Now, am I going to actually get credit here? This is one of the big things. Yes, I'm still getting credit. Okay, now that he's told me to get to the front, we'll stay at the front for a little bit.
The pace has slowed somewhat.
This is one of the changes that they've made. It's actually really, really hard to get credit for riding at the front. You can't just go to the front and do it. You actually have to have an order to do it. Otherwise, they don't give you the credit. Now, I like that, and I don't like that because it comes with a flaw. If you get a rider into the break on your team, they're never going to order you to chase them down. So there's got to be some sort of adaptive system. If you've got a teammate in the break, you're not going to get credit for riding at the front. So there's got to be some sort of alternate way to get your development points still working for the team. Collect water 4 times, for example. Or protect the team leader for, say, if it's 25k, make it 50k of protecting the leader. That will get you along.
We've got 15 kilometers to the finish line.
But I never got an order to ride to the front until just a little bit ago, and I'm going to get halfway, but I'm not going to get any further than that. I mean, we're almost to the end of the stage here. And actually, this is a classic, so we'll have a winner of the race here in just a couple short climbs. And that's not going to be me, because I'm working for team leader.
There are just 10 kilometers left.
Picking up some good distance here, though. Get 18.
I was gonna go to Ginger Pop.
Wow, that's one attack that's going to leave a
There
good
goes the
feel on
pace,
its way.
and there goes my ability to catch him. I don't think I'm going to get coming up 7 short, really. I need 1 more K to get 3/4. Makes a big difference. Okay, get to the front.
A group of riders has come a cropper, but they all look ready to set off again. We're into the last 5 kilometers.
Once they've given that order, you can still
Somebody
carry it out.
says that a rider
Come on,
is down.
get to the front. I need, seriously, 1K. Just 1K. Come on. There it is. Got it.
This climb is feared by many riders. The percentages are very high.
It's the last climb, and I'm completely out of energy, so I'm going to finish way at the back of this group. But at least I finished with the group. Alright, so I finished just outside of the top 20 on this one. That has been the case a lot lately. I'll continue to talk about a few of the changes as I continue the video, but I'm going to go ahead and do a cut here, and we'll continue down the timeline. So sprints are something that is vastly improved in the 2018 edition. It used to be that you could win a sprint with a stage racer like me, 55 sprint, and I've done it a couple times. It's not easy, but it's doable. Breakaways in the last few K, kind of sprinting off the front a little ahead of time, and having just enough stamina to get to the end. That's no more. They've vastly improved how the sprints are done. The biggest thing about it is that in a typical sprint, which this stage is a little off from a typical sprint with these couple short climbs before the end, but in a typical sprint, by now, the peloton ramps up the speed to mid-90s. And it gets super intense. It used to be that they would ramp up the speed from anywhere from about 75 to 80, maybe 85, but now it's mid-90s. I've already been in a situation this season where at 99 with stamina, I was being distanced. And that's not just on the line. That was in the final few kilometers. And I was really struggling to stick onto the back of the group in that one. So that is one area that I have really invested a lot of time in. And that biggest part of it is the overall pace leading up to it. Makes it impossible for anyone to just suddenly ride away from the group and take a win that way. And it truly is, in that final sprint, it truly does come down to the sprinters. You used to be able to consistently crack the top 10 as a non-sprinter. Now I'm lucky to crack the top 20. And that's when I do phenomenally in the setup, strategically. You can see here, just on this tiny little punchy climb, at 94 I'm being distanced. Alright, so we have 11k to go in this one. I am late May now, and my situation is I'm on a 5-stage race where the first 4 stages are all sprints. But the 5th stage, that's where my job comes in. The 5th stage is a variable climb and time trial. So my 2 strengths. My task for this entire race has been... this is going to be the second time a group might stay away. They're just seconds ahead though. It looks like they're being caught on the line, but they are going to win. Yep.
That went right down to the wire.
Yeah, they held on for the top 2. And you can see here, in the end, well, this time it was more about not being able to find a gap to get ahead of riders.
We're waiting for the back markers,
outside of the top 20. I've been
race.
consistently cracking the top 25 or so. See, I still had the stamina left here because I couldn't get through the pack, but at best I would have only had another 5 to 10 places. There have been 2 breakaways, this one being the second. The top 2 riders held on only to the line, but in the first stage, 6 riders held on all the way and had a minute over the field. One of those riders has since been dropped. Ooh, now a couple more. So 3 of those riders are left. Oh, actually only 2. So just these 2. These have been top 2 sprinters. Luigi from my team has been doing quite well. And then these have been the other top finishers in the sprints. But then the bulk of the field is at a minute 16. I've had decent enough finishes where I'm 19th overall. Finally heading into stage number 5. So I've earned 0 points. And this is what I was talking about before. The evaluation, the way the evaluation is all set up. I'm supposed to finish in the top 3. So if I'm not in the top 3, no points. I'm in the top 20 on nothing but sprint stages. I'm in on that same time as the bulk of the field outside of those couple riders, and yet I've earned 0 points after 4 stages. Anyway, so sprints, more realistic. Something I very much like. We're going to head into that final stage. We're going to take through this stage. It's possible that there's going to be one more episode before I get through the entirety of Season 1. It's just a long period of time to cover. If we look back at the 2017 season, that was almost 7 months to get through 2 seasons. So 3.5 months, that's a lot of episodes. That's 14 at least. Here we go. About 40 Ks. They call that hills. That's not hills. That's pretty flat to me. It's not flat, but it looks like I am second on the list of favorites. See if I can live up to that. My race day condition is looking up a little bit. My fitness has steadily improved after I hit my first peak and then valleyed, and I have started climbing towards my second peak of the season. And that takes me to that next subject. The fitness has a much bigger impact on your race performance than it did in 2017. They upped that in 2017. They've upped that to another level here in 2018. So the rise and fall in your fitness level has a pretty significant impact on how you do in a race. For example, I had a sprinter on my team who again and again was consistently a top 5 and a favorite. Yet stage after stage, when their fitness had bottomed out, stage after stage, they were only barely cracking the top 15. So they were losing a good 10 places in the sprint because of their low fitness condition. Likewise, myself, the couple top 20s that I've managed in the sprint was when I was at my fitness peak. Other than that, I've barely cracked top 25. So it absolutely has an impact, not just on the sprint. That was just the example I was using. And along with that, not just the fitness, but they have it listed as tiredness, but really consider that fatigue. Fatigue plays a really big role, and I like how they've reworked it. In the past, it used to just be a longevity thing. As the season went on, you grew more and more fatigued, and it would slowly affect you more and more over the course of the season. And to the end of the season, if you were ultra fatigued, you would just crash and not be able to perform in the final races. But outside of that, it was all just about length. It was a time thing. The longer the season went on, the more races you were involved in, the more intensely you rode each of those races, the more it would have that impact. But now, tiredness, your fatigue, it rises, it falls, goes up and down over the course of the season. I really like that because that is far more realistic. From day to day, we are more tired or less tired depending on rest. You get the appropriate rest, you take a little break, and fatigue will fade away. Maybe not entirely, and it can build up over the season, but there's a definite play into that, which I very much like. Alright, so looks like the weather is so-so. Strong breeze. I should keep an eye and see. I am heading out from here, heading into the breeze until after the second checkpoint, and then we'll have the wind at our backs to the end. That is important to note, especially as that is a definite uphill. Now I'm going to need to store up some energy. For one thing, I am on the only downhill section really right now, besides one small downhill here. But we are going to be climbing, and then we are going to climb a little, and then we're going to climb a bit more. So a lot of uphill towards the back end, so I want to preserve some energy for later on. My time trial is set at a 73 today. I did lose one on hill, but this isn't really a hill, but there is a little bit of slope there. And my flat certainly isn't good. Stamina resistance are very good, but luckily the time trial is at a 73, so I'm already starting to store up some energy, which is fantastic. Through the first checkpoint, I am 19 seconds off the pace, and that puts me all the way down in 14th. However, that is tactical, and as we start to climb here, I will ramp this up a bit. This is where you really gain time, is on these slopes. A lot of riders slow down a lot. If you're able to speed up, that's where you're going to really start to gain some time. So yes, I lost 19 seconds, but I can gain minutes on these climbs. Alright, here's that steeper section. See, the fact that I'm able to push this harder is going to pick up a lot of time, and you can see as I already am on the verge of passing this rider, and I've still got energy in the bank, and I'm going to have this little downhill section, and I'm just about to the top here. I will recover some on that downhill, but you can see it's already starting to catch up. Alright, that's up over the top. I'm going to slow this down some.
The rider crossing the line is credited with the best time so far.
Alright, I'm all the way down to 20th now on that first checkpoint, 23 seconds off. Alright, here's that chance to gain back a ton of stamina. Take it as easy as I can down this hill. Burn no energy. There we go. Alright, so I've got a good little bit stored up again for that last climb. I don't want to burn too much right now, even on this little false flat. There you go. Alright, I think I'll set it 72 for a while here and speed this up a little bit, as I'm not going anywhere too fast right now. Ooh, catching up on him anyway, even though I'm not even pushing it right now. Alright, through the second checkpoint, and I have jumped up to second place, 13 seconds behind Hayden McCormick at this point. And let's see, no sign of Hayden McCormick yet, so he probably has not finished. Ivager is 5th at this point. Paulinho and Rabic. Paulinho and Rabic. Any sign of them? No. So it looks like at least a few of the top riders, there's Rabic, still out on the course. Now, how am I doing? Here's that last little, I've got a bunch for this final climb of energy stored up. So here we go. This is where I can really make my money. See if I can't get up top.
The best provisional time has just been beaten.
I've dropped to third. That second checkpoint. Cormick and Samilau. Okay. Oish was right up near the front, so everybody's on the course at this point. There we go. McCormick on top. Paulinho. So there's your top guys. I should easily get above Paulinho. McCormick, we'll see. How am I doing on that energy? I've got bags of energy still. Push, push, push. 99. Go, go, go. I still had a little bit left. Oh, there you go. Over a minute into the lead. And I still had a little bit left, so a little disappointing, but I was able to really gain a lot of time in that final climb. Let's see that I was, 14 seconds behind McCormick. So pretty much put a minute and a half on him, and if I would have ramped up a little bit earlier, I probably could have taken another 10-15 seconds or so on that climb as well. Alright, let's track who's out there. Kump 14th, Gessner 7 minutes down, Stallert minute 17 down. And what was, let's see, slow this back down. What was my overall? I'm a minute 16 off the lead. Okay, here comes my teammate. He's got quite a ways to go still, actually. Oh no. Let's see. Sylvester. Okay, top 8 to cross the line. I have a 45-second lead over Oram. And Oram is only seconds ahead of me. So I've moved ahead of everyone who's crossed the line so far. 7 riders left. I'm into the top 10 overall. And looking at a potential stage win. See, this guy's 2:45 down, so he's well back. This one's 2 minutes down at the second checkpoint. Final 5 riders. So it looks like I'm headed on my way to the top 5 as far back as this guy was. There we go, 30th. Whoa, 6.5 minutes down. Okay, my teammate, who was in 4th overall, a minute 2 behind the leader. So he's still only about, what, 14 seconds ahead of me. And at the checkpoint, he's well back. But good condition today. Whoa, he lost 6.5 minutes. Okay, Requegi. Okay, down to the last 2 riders. These are the ones that are a ways ahead. Over a minute ahead of me. So I do need to gain some time on them. And just 1 to go till I get the stage and the tour victory. And it looks like I've got it. Yeah, I did it. That should be it. There it is. Couple of achievements. And there's my 2nd and 3rd win. I get credit for the stage win, and I get credit for the tour win as well. So that's big progress right there. And I'm going to go ahead and jump a little bit further down that timeline yet again as I continue with this episode. Alright, so as I have found my fitness and I'm hitting my peak, as I was actually mentioning in the last segment, it's really helping me find my form. I finished 5th in a race recently, and it was a solid finish. I was really happy with the performance on that one. And here I am. This is stage 1 of 4. Everything's I'd say there's 1 sprint stage and 2 hilly stages. Neither one of them are too severe. But this first stage is a time trial that's also considered a hilly time trial. And I'm actually the favorite here. So if I can win this thing, there's actually a really good chance that not only can I get my 4th win of the year with the stage win, but it's possible that I will hang on to win the overall as well.
A new best intermediate marker.
Wow, I got the best intermediate marker even though I was going slow. And I have an 80 and lots of energy to burn going up that final climb, which is going to start here in just a moment. And here we go. 3K to go, 3K climb. Not super steep. about 7%, just under 7% for the gradient. Looks like it does ramp up a bit here. 9, 10, 10.5%.
Percentages above 10%.
And look at me fly past these guys. Okay, 80 might be just a hair presumptuous. I still have halfway to go. 1K to go. Wow, that's getting steep. 17%. Ooh. Coming up short. Coming up short. Half a K to go and struggling to the end. Wow, I had no idea that it was getting that steep. You look at the profile, it does not look like that. I'm going to lose a ton of time on that.
The best provisional time has just been beaten. That's a best
But I
time.
do go to the lead. There's Rabbit, who is close behind on that last one. That was 54 seconds to the good. Still quite a few riders out there. The guy just came in 5th. Next one's well back. This one's well back. There's one who's a little closer. No, 3:15 down. 4 minutes down. 3 minutes down. 3 minutes. Time's looking pretty secure at the moment. That guy that I was side by side with is the one who's second overall right now. It was just a few bike lengths ahead of me. Looking good so far. Here's one who's a little better off. Nope. Minute 12, that's been one of the closest so far. Bibby into 6th place. Vingegaard and Zoidel both just crossed line 2nd and 3rd, but only 1 second down, and that was it. I won by almost a minute. If I hadn't burned through the last of that energy too early, not knowing that it was going to go from 7% to 17 when it looked the same, probably could have won it by even more. Alright, so there is my 4th win of the year. And by the way, attributes matter so much more. I really like the AI improvements. It's clear that everything was about the AI this year. And while there's a couple things that need some tweaking, and hopefully there's a couple updates to deal with those, most of the changes have been pretty solid, pretty good. Alright, we're going to go ahead and jump forth to maybe the last stage or on beyond that. We'll see. But there's victory number 4 on the year. I have leveled up again after that double win previously, and by going to level 11, I've seen myself improve to the top of the team. So that's making a big difference. It's showing up in the attributes. I'm our best climber by far, even in the hills, and time trial significantly better than anybody else. And even recovery has hit 70 now. My stamina and resistance are both into the 60s finally, and out of the ugly 50s that they were in previously. So looking good from there. So here I am in stage number 2, where I am wearing the leader's jersey. My race day condition is looking great after the really nice win the day before. The breakaway group started with 14 riders. They got out to about 5 minutes ahead, and I've had a number of my teammates slowly reeling them in for a while, and the pace that it forced them into has caused breakaway itself to drop a few riders, and it's down to about 2.5 minutes. Here on stage 2, we have 2 large categorized first category climbs. That last of the 2 is pretty intense at its base and again near the top, and then the finish line comes after a pretty steep climb as well. I am actually yet again one of the favorites today, so as I have improved to a 71, I'm finally starting to get to that point where I'm being recognized as a decent climber. Part of the struggles are actually the team that I'm on. Being that it's a Dutch team, they have a lot of classics, a lot of cobblestone races that don't suit my capabilities. So I've had a little bit of trouble this season finding the right races to partake in, but over time I've gotten better and better with that set. And with those choices, especially as I've earned some points, I've been able to swap out a couple races and take a couple of the ones that suit me a little bit better. So that breakaway group is crumbling now. They are down to just a minute ahead, but the peloton has crumbled far more than the breakaway has, as the 11 riders are actually hanging on together. And stretching that lead back out a little bit, which I don't care for too much, but we'll catch him no problem. Here's somebody who decided they want to go for it and help pick up the pace. Peloton's down to just 28 riders now. This appears to be the easier section of the climb, but at the top of the climb, we're actually not done climbing just yet on this one. Now, Oaklawn's the only rider I have left, so I do not want to go into attack mode just yet.
Their front group is disorganized, and some riders are exploiting this opportunity to attack.
Alright, you're up and over the first part of the climb. There is still a little bit more rising to do before we head down, 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 and then up that next climb. And I'm still looking pretty fresh at this point, so looking strong for a solid finish. We are close to 3 minutes behind the first rider though, but they are totally by themselves now. It's going to be difficult for them on the next climb to maintain that lead. Okay, this downhill is going to go pretty fast. Still on the downhill. We have picked up 30 seconds on that individual rider. Quick false flat and then still descending.
Says that a rider is down. Apparently he didn't interfere with the race.
Wow, a single rider down that didn't take out a bunch of other riders? That hasn't happened in a while. Alright, that individual breakaway rider has been re-caught by the remnants of the breakaway group. There are 9 riders now. We're back within 2 minutes here at the base of the penultimate climb, and the last categorized one here on the stage. And you can see those riders ahead now. They're not that far beyond us. And as steep as this thing is going to get, and here is the steepest right now.
There's a report over the radio of a rider coming off his bike. But apparently, he's back in the saddle. The riders are in a portion above 10%.
I could almost ride away from these guys. I'm stuck in between them. Let's see. Just a little sprint.
That's really a punchy attack. A rider has a flat tire. Let's hope he is helped out quickly.
Off on my own. Let's pick a pace though that I can hold. Holding that one just fine. Yeah, they've caught back up. Let's go ahead and recover. Just 27 riders left though, and that includes whatever's left of the breakaway. Oaklawn's held on, so it's able to shield me and get me nicely recovered there. Appreciate that. But it wasn't that hard for me to pull away from the group. It's a good little test run for that final climb. It'll be a lot fresher than most of these guys. And down we go. Just that little acceleration right before the top is enough to pull a few riders off the back. The more it thins that group out, the easier it is to cement my place in first place. Remember, I have close to a minute over everyone else right now. Alright. Somebody's trying to ride off.
Nocentini goes on to the attack.
214 down, he's a climber. He's going for the win. Alright. Oh, thought I had that handled.
We're into the last 5 kilometers.
Alright, we picked up all but one rider now. Okalon is here with me, but on my tail. I'm gonna pretty much chase him down myself.
The road is really
There we go.
treacherous.
Okalon's finally got enough to get ahead of me, and there we go. He's been overcome. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Wait. Recover.
This climb features some dreadful percentages. Acceleration by Ronaldo Nocentini.
Alright. Okalon's toast. I'm almost toast. I'll lose some time
There
here.
goes the sprint. The strong men are giving their all. Victory for Ronaldo Nocentini.
So Nocentini gets the win. Higgins second. Vingegaard third. I'm about 30 seconds behind, but we'll see if there's any separation in time. So I got 11th on the stage. That's okay. See where we're at in the standings. 11th, not bad. I did want more out of the stage than that, but that's okay. This is a lot of the guys that were in the top 10.
And
too.
here are the key moments of the race.
Let's see if they separate the times. 28 seconds down. Top 5 got better times. But I'm still in first overall. Alright, so it's stage number 4. I still have the overall lead, though the time on that has shrunk down to a little over 20 seconds. Stage 3 was a sprint stage, so there was no changes there. There are 2 climbs still to go. There was a pretty large breakaway that's blown up. It's all over the place now, but it's still a few minutes ahead, and I have not checked the times on those to see if there's anybody in there that poses some sort of threat to the overall. If we can get the group back together and I can get over these 2 climbs, then I will hang on for the overall race win. It's a pretty big if right now with 2.5 minutes separating the groups. But as you can see, we are starting to eat up a lot of the breakaway group. Now there are just 3 riders left from what was originally 11. I got Van Luke helping me out here, riding off the front, picking up some time. Peloton's down to 50 riders, and now just 2 riders left, and their time is just crumbling, so we're catching on pretty quick to them right now. Alright, Oaklawn's trying to work his way back up. Van Luke's trying to shield me for the time being. And we're just about over the penultimate climb. Those last 2 riders are now split over the top. They are picking up some time again, though. Alright, let's get down there. Those last 2 climbs. The last climb now. Alright, we're heading down to about the base. Let's see who those 2 riders are. Salvador, 6.5 minutes down overall, 4.5 minutes down for Pujol. So we are not in any danger to those 2. Nor am I too worried about the stage win. I'm looking for the overall win. I've got 1 climb left to go, and I'm looking quite strong for this climb.
This climb features some dreadful percentages.
In fact, I'm gonna
Oh my, the guys up
ride away
front
from
aren't
these
going to be making
guys
too many
a
friends
bit.
today. He's going to take them on by himself.
Not looking to do it here all at once, just ramp up the pace a bit. Not leaving them behind though, so back off, save my energy.
The riders have just passed the 15 kilometers road sign. There's a few riders jockeying for position at the front.
Figueiredo is 1.5 minutes down, so I do need to watch out for him. Okay, no problem there. Off he goes again.
An attack is launched.
This is called protecting the lead. And not risking it either. Alright. We reached the banner, but we're still not over the top. And it does crest here for a bit. We're only about 14 seconds down. Oaklawn and Van Luke aren't strong enough now to give chase. I'd like somebody to get up here to help with this chase. There we go. I get in line here behind Reguigui. He's a sprinter. There's Van
We're
Luke.
into the last 5 kilometers.
Let him shield me for the time being. Okay, we're getting down to the end. Van Luke's out front now. Comes that last attack.
And there's an attack at the front. He could go all the way.
Figueiredo. Okay, he's toast. Here come all those sprinters flying by.
Who's gonna be the first of the line today?
I'll be with them.
Great
I'm gonna have a
stuff.
decent
Teamwork
finish.
really
See, there you
paid
go,
off. And
Reguigui,
there's
the
sprinter
sprinter.
brings home the bacon.
Just outside of the top 10. 18th. 18th on the stage,
We're waiting
and
for
that
the
should
backdrop
secure
to be
first
fairly numerous in this
overall.
difficult race.
So there is my 4th and 5th victories of the year. Other than one of those, I've had both a stage and tour victory twice this year now. So pretty solid performance. I am also at a point where I am out of time for the continuation of this episode, even though I am far from the end of the season. So there will be one more episode spread out over the course of the season. Maybe. There's a small chance that next time you see me will be at the beginning of season 2. I still have USA Championships, time trials to do, a lot of the July-August races that my team have set up. And there's only a couple September races. They have a short season, this team that I'm riding for. Most of those are Cobble Classics, meaning I'm not going to be participating in many of those, and I certainly won't show them on camera. So there's actually only a couple races left on the year that are going to matter. So we'll see. I might just skip over it, and we'll see at the beginning of next year, but it depends on how things go. But that does it for this episode. And remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my road to the record. Bye for now.